So this video is all about the unessay, which as you've seen, will be due at the end of the semester as um, your final project. So I want to go through the assignment as it's written on the syllabus, which you have access to, and then show you some examples from what people have done in my classes and in other classes, just to give you a bit of a scope to see what's possible. So this assignment is based on one created by Daniel Paul O'Donnell, adapted by Ryan Cordell. You can click on both of those links if you want to read a bit more about how they have used them. I love doing this with students. It's my first time doing it with this particular class, so I'm really excited to see what kinds of things that you come up with. So you're probably wondering, what is an unessay? What it is a sort of creative and flexible way to really engage with a topic. It can be used for, to discuss any works of literature, autobiography, science, entertainment, etc. And it's doing the work that an essay is actually usually trying to get students to do. Students are usually taught very structured, 5-paragraph or 5-page or 10-page essay formats, under the assumption that this is improving their writing skills, but they can often become kind of repetitive and formulaic within those strictures. So we're going to kind of break out of that and give you the chance to do something a little bit more flexible, to get more in detail and discuss something that you found interesting or intriguing this semester. And the basic tenets are here. I won't read through them all, but please read through them and let me know if you have questions. But basically, you choose your own topic from the course itself, from the things that we have been reading. And actually, one of your peers, Sloan, gave me an idea the other day that we might kind of centralize our topics to all be about no single story, to go off of the Adichie talk that we read the first week, because that is something that we keep coming back to week after week. So that might be an interesting way to further narrow down your topic, to think of it as, okay, if I'm writing about no single story, then what can I do from there? You can present it in any way you please, so keep in mind, that this is a literature class, so you want to be engaging with the works that we have done. But think about how you might do that to best serve you. So if you are an English major, if you're applying to graduate school, if you're in the humanities and you want to write a traditional 10-page essay that would ordinarily be at the end of a seminar like this, then yes, absolutely go ahead and do that. You definitely are not banned from writing the traditional academic literary essay. If you want to engage with some of the literary criticism and scholarship, you can go that route. If you want, you can go in another route, and I'll show you some examples in a minute. Of course, because we're meeting online, you'll have to give me some sort of digital representation of it. So if you make a series of artwork, then you would have to submit a picture of that. And how you will be assessed will be about how compelling and effective they are. So some criteria here. So basically the big one is that it has to have a purpose that's clearly demonstrated to readers and viewers. It has to make sense. The medium has to serve the message, and the message has to make sense within the medium. It has to be as complete as the topic and the approach allows, so it doesn't leave me thinking, okay, but you didn't talk about, this essential point. It has to be kind of appropriate, and it has to be attractive. It has to look polished, and to kind of serve the medium that you're working in the best. This little blurb here, if you're wondering, why aren't I writing a traditional paper? Is this a waste of time? And this is the argument that it's not, and if you're interested, I can point you to further research on this. But a lot of what students get out of making these are sort of the persuasiveness in the arguments and the backing up of claims and the use of evidence that is exactly what I would be looking for in the traditional academic essay. So, and often, if it's questions about citation or grammar, those are things that can be easily looked up. I'm more interested in having you do something that practices your kind of critical thinking skills and allows you to go into depth about something that is interesting. So, take a look at the assignment. I would like some proposals for these, let's say in a week from today, so next Wednesday, and I'll remind you about this on Slack. Um, I'll start a channel for it, and I think it would be interesting if we could all look at see what everybody else is doing. So you can just put in, a short paragraph about what it is you're thinking of doing, or if you have an idea but you don't know how to execute it, or if you know what text you want to work with but you don't know what you want to say about them. Okay, so let me show you some examples. These are from all different classes. None of these are from an African American literature class, so you'll see that the subject matter doesn't quite line up, but that's okay. I just wanted to show you a bunch of different genres. Okay, so this is a BuzzFeed article that one of my students made. When it is necessary, students will write sort of a reflective accompanying piece saying like why they did what they did. If it's not self-evident for the class that we were in, like this made a lot of sense. This is from the same class. This was a Tumblr about permaculture, about something I didn't know a lot about, and this was really a mix of different media, of videos and short articles and descriptions and images. Let's see, this is from a totally different class. This is from my former colleague's class about graffiti. Again, this was in a Tumblr. This was another Tumblr, but it was used a little bit differently. It was showcasing this kind of imaginary memoir from the computer programmer Ada Lovelace. So it's announcing her memoir, which doesn't exist. So this is a kind of a creative take on this, and then it has information and background about Ada Lovelace and an excerpt. Okay, this one was an unessay about the Java programming language written in the Java programming language. Right, so it looks totally different, and it's doing a few things here. It's sort of practicing coding that was part of the class and kind of doing some in-depth research on the topic itself. This was another blog that is mixing short articles and essays. And again, this one had a visual culture focus. This is a creative story that then the author annotated. So that they're showing the process of the work as well as the finished product. This was a digital exhibit of primary source materials that dealt with race and gender in brand representation. So they looked at the Chiquita banana, cream of wheat, and the Land O'Lakes, and there used to be images that accompanied them that we had some copyright issues, so we stripped those out. And just a couple more. This was sort of a educational pamphlet. And this was a series of images that the student made talking about how Black women have been figured as sort of edible and consumable and figured as food products, especially in the 19th century. So the student made these pieces of art of the Black female body out of food, and this says, "She's yours to consume." So this was a really cool project, and she wrote a short essay talking about her methodology behind it, and there she is making it. So that is sort of a wide range and only a start of what you could do. My advice to you is to don't think about the genre first. Don't necessarily think, oh, I need to make some sort of website, or I need to make a Tumblr, or I need to make an art project. Focus instead on your research topic, just as you would if you were writing a traditional paper. And I was saying to you, develop the thesis statement. You would look through the works that you've done and your posts that you've written and the discussions that we've had, and you would start to construct an argument out of that. So that is exactly where you should start. And then you can kind of play around with how to then present this material in the most sort of accurate and exciting way. And again, it might just look like an essay. It might look like an essay with images. It might be multimedia. I've had video submissions, so it is really up to you. Open to experimentation. So for next week, next Wednesday, on Slack, I'll open that channel and post just a brief write-up about what you're thinking, and then we can start kind of amending it or tweaking it, or making sure that you're on the right page from there. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I hope this isn't too rambling. I'm not going to re-listen to it. I'm just going to post it. So hit me up on Slack with questions. Bye.